Hello, and welcome to my channel, where I talk about books and bricks and bookish things and anything that takes my fancy. If you're new here, welcome. And if you obviously know me, then hello. I am still attempting to do a video once a week on a Wednesday. This is this week's upload, and it's going to be a reading wrap up and maybe just a catch up, but mainly a reading wrap up. I hope you're all well, my darlings. Are you keeping warm? I don't know about you, but I'm quite near. I'm in England, in Britain, in Devon, and it is Baltic here. It's not. It's raining for a start, but it's always raining in Devon. That's why it's so green. It is so kind of bitter cold. It's like bone cold. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I can't seem to get warm, but you know, it's also the 4th of February. 4th, yeah, 4th of February when I'm recording this, Wednesday the 4th, and I this is my birthday month. So it's my birthday on the 21st. My sister's down for a couple of weeks, which will be great. Next week I'm off to visit my son, my stepson, his partner, and my granddaughter Faith. Also going out with some friends for a bit of breakfast, which will be nice. And I've got a doctor's appointment because I had some very weird symptoms with my MS, so I need to go and sort them out and get another MRI, which is fun, isn't it? It's always fun. But apart from that, I'm all right. I've been reading. I've been building Lego. It was obviously Insider's 2 points, 2 times points this weekend. So I finally bought myself a tuxedo cap, which I really wanted. I think my cats are either going to attack it, or run away from it. Like, 'cause it's like cat size. There's also a ginger one coming out, and I've got both tuxedo black and ginger cats, so I'm gonna have to get that one. But I'll see how the cats react to this one first, and see if they try and kill him. Anyway, we'll see. But anyway, first of all, we're gonna do reading wrap up. In January, I've slowed down this year. I'm not sure if it's the same for a lot of other bookish creators. I think it probably is. But I always have a reading challenge, but I don't particularly care if I reach it or not. And but you have to put a number in there, right? I normally read around 200 books a year. Bearing in mind that's only four books a week, which is nothing for me. Because my main hobby is reading or Lego. I don't go out. So I'm housebound. I'm retired now, so I've got even more time. But strangely enough, I'm finding my reading is slowing down, and I'm slowing down with my reading. I think I'm really just enjoying just picking up a book, putting it down, then going off to something else, come back, picking up a book. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just sitting and reading for like 3 or 4 hours straight. I've only ever been in competition with myself. I just don't know. I think perhaps this year is like a reset year for me. It's 2 years since I lost my husband in March. And I think this is kind of a reset year for me, and I'm just kind of taking it slowly. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially this time of year, because we're wintering, aren't we? This time of year. See, in olden days, we'd have just worked till the sun went down and then slept, and I think that's very much in our kind of DNA. That's why we all feel so drained and tired at this time of year, and why January seems to take 40 million years. God, it's over. And I don't actually. I'm retired now, but I do remember those days of waiting for January to end when you're at work, and it's a long time from pay to pay, isn't it? So I hope you're all well. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're keeping warm, and I hope you're enjoying great books. So we'll get into it. I read 12 books in January, and I enjoyed them all. I'll start with the Kindles first. I had to write them down, obviously, because I don't have them in front of me. So the first one I read was this 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill, which I believe has been repackaged as Black Phone, which is one of the stories on there. And these are all stories, or ghostly, haunting stories by Joe Hill. It's the first first writing I've ever read by him. I've got quite a few of them. I've never read them, and I really enjoyed these. They were really good, really quite dark, which I quite like, and they were great stories. Great short story collection. I love a short story collection to read alongside a main read, where I can just pick up. read a story, put it down, and this was excellent. It was really, really good. I really loved this story, Blackford, and there was another one. I can't remember the name of it now, but I really loved as well. But I actually really enjoyed all of these stories, and they are all stories of ghosts and hauntings. Actually, there's a bit of a theme this month. You'll probably notice in a minute. Secondly, I read Witching Hour Theatre. This is by Jonathan Jans. I love Jonathan Jans, his writing. And this is actually a novella. It's only a couple of 100 pages. And it's about this man who he always goes to the theatre, the midnight showing of, they do horror, classic horror. They basically do a classic horror, a modern horror, and a new horror, like a triple bill in this theatre. And it's nearly always the same people who go. Do you know, they're all horror fans. And the one night he goes, or everybody around him starts disappearing. And it turns out there's, a couple of people in the theatre who are doing people in. It's kind of a slasher trope, but very much subverted, set in a theatre that's showing horror movies. So basically, watching horror movies while being within a horror movie, basically. It's really good fun. It's very, very gory, very gruesome, proper psychological, because you really don't know what's going on to begin with. Um, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It's on KU, so that's why I picked it up. The next one, Seven Dolls Mystery by Agatha Christie. Now, the reason I love Christie. I've got all of her books, but I've got majority of them now on Kindle. Got rid of the physical copies because they take up so much room. She wrote hundreds, I think over 100 books. And the reason I read this is because the Netflix have made an adaptation of it, which I haven't watched yet. But I thought, I'll read that. I haven't read it for a long time. I do remember the story. If you don't know, I'm not going to give away the ending. But it's about a group of very kind of plucky girls and handsome chaps on a country estate. It's all very kind of, do you know what I mean? And they're all there, and the one guy can't wake up in the morning, so they decide, as a laugh, to put 8 clocks all going off as an alarm clock one morning. Anyway, I can't remember if they go off or they don't go off. I can't remember. Anyway, he doesn't wake up. They go up. One of the clocks has been thrown into the garden. 7 clocks seven of these little alarm clocks are standing on the shelf over the fireplace. It's all a bit of a mystery. He's dead. Why is he dead? Who's killed him? It's obvious somebody's killed him. He's been poisoned. Who by? And so this the girl is the main character, and she's the one who she's called Bundle, which actually, strangely enough, Agatha Christie used again in Chimneys, which is another Agatha Christie um, murder mystery. But yeah, so Bundle she's called, and she's the daughter of a lord, and like people are, and yeah, so it's really, really good, and I really enjoyed the book. And now, so I'm wondering whether I should actually watch the film, because it's always going to be a disappointment. And also, it's the first time I think it's the first and only time Agatha Christie did a murder mystery police procedural. This is like a very formulaic, traditional police detective thriller, basically. It's the first time she ever did it, and I think it's possibly the only time she ever did it, because she mainly does murder mysteries, right? But I mean, there is, dastardly murder in this, but it is much more of a kind of detective thriller. So it has that kind of very kind of pulpy feel to it. It's quite a lot of cliches and in jokes that if you read police procedurals, you'll really get. So I'll be interested to see what the film's like, but I haven't watched it yet. Next, Night Side of the River by Jeanette Winterson. And I love Jeanette Winterson's writing. This is a book of short stories. And these are ghost stories too. Ghosts, visitations, supernatural happenings, but interspersed with essays about her life and essays about things that have happened in her life that could be ghostly connected. So it's a mix, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. She go from, because it's so kind of, I'm leaning on someone probably, sorry, but because you're not sure if is this a story or is this real for a minute? And then you realise it's an essay and not a short story. And I loved it. It was really, really good. Um, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Again, ghostly. I had a ghostly month, January. Next, Atlas of Paranormal Places. The main reason I read this, and the one after, which is called the Book of the Wizard, I'll get to that in a minute. Atlas of Paranormal Places, it is what it says on the tin. It's a journey around the world of places that have paranormal activity. It's kind of like an encyclopedia. The reason I got it was because it came up on my KU recommended, and it was free on KU. Well, not free, just pay for KU, but yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. All over the world, all these weird places where supposedly the supernatural happenings happen, followed swiftly by this Book of the Bizarre, which is also kind of like an atlas, but of places that are a bit off the wall, a bit weird. There's like strange rituals, strange activities. Again, set up going around the world, different parts of the world, different laws and rules. Some of them really wacky and bizarre. So yeah, and they're kind of I read both of those before I go to sleep when my Kindle in my bedroom because it's kind of like easy. Because if I get tired, I can just put it down because they're like very short little, you're flitting about. So it's a lot easier than trying to read a novel, at night because that'll keep me awake because I want to know what's happening next. Anyway, so that is the Kindles. Next, we go on to the physical copies. So, firstly, we had the Window Point Horror, the Tales Point Horror Book Club pick for January. And this actually really was a good book. I love Carol Ellis. She's one of my favourite point horror. I think she might be my favourite point horror one at the moment. There's some point horror unleashed which I really love, but the main point horror, she's brilliant. I've liked everyone we've read of hers, and this one is great. It's about a group of people that go into the onto a cabin into like a ski resort, and they all know each other except one girl, and she was supposed to be going with a friend who knew everybody, but she's got flu so couldn't come, right? So she ends up going with, I don't know where you do this, by the way. She goes with a group of people she doesn't know, she never met, they don't know her, but a friend knows them, so she thinks they're all right. And she has an accident, and she ends up um, being stuck in the cabin, looking out the window, and she sees what she thinks is a murder of this very attractive woman that everybody seems to love to hate across the way through the window. It's like Rear Window. In fact, the film um, movie choice for Task Point Horror this month was Rear Window by Alvin Hitchcock. And it's very much like that. Did she see what she saw? When she saw somebody dragging, was it a body? Is it somebody? It's obviously somebody in the cabin with her. Who is it? And so it becomes like a whodunit. It was really good. Isolated location, snowed in. Could be any of them. I mean, no idea. This woman, nobody knows where she's gone, but nobody seems to care because she could have left because she was going to leave. So has she left or is she dead? Is that blood on the wall or nail varnish? I mean, it's like a murder mystery, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was really, really good. And so, yeah, point horror. Next, let's go for that one at the bottom. The Rainfall Market by Yu Young Wang. This is, I think is it Japanese? Can't remember. I think it's Japanese rather than Korean, but they're pretty similar. It's translated fiction, and I had this as a present from my lovely friend Ray. Merry Christmas. Doesn't tell you where, does it? Go Korea. It's Korean translated. Apologies. So it's about this girl called Serin, and she lives a pretty awful life. Really, they got no money. Her sister has disappeared. Her mom works masses of jobs, and they live in a very dodgy part of the town they live in, which is they don't have money, they don't have food, and she does kind of martial arts, but her life's pretty bleak, right? So when there's a monsoon, this magical place opens called the Rainfall Market, and they advertise to say that they're on their way, and people can write in and say, give an outline of why they want to go to the market and tell them how bad their life is. So she does that, and she gets a ticket, And it turns out in this market, and it's a magical market run by a different race of people called what they call the Duraki? Dokabi. Duraki. I think that's probably from Babylon 5, isn't it? Anyway, get me sci-fi muddled up. Anyway, and basically you go in and they give you some coins and you go and find an orb. And if you look into the orb, it'll give you the life you want. You can buy the life you want. But you can go and look at as many orbs as you want to and decide which one you want and decide what kind of life you want. And there's like magical bookshops and gardens and perfumeries, and it's beautiful. But in the behind all this, there's something machinations going on. Somebody's trying to take over really from the real ruler. And if you don't choose an orb before the rain stops, you get trapped in the rainfall market forever. It's like a lot of Korean and Japanese fiction. It is beautiful imagery. It's very, very sweet, but there's kind of mild peril, and which becomes more perilous later on. But it always has a moral message in it at the end, which is, be careful what you wish for. Actually, your life's not that bad. So yeah, but it's really good. Beautiful cover. The loneliest girl in the universe. Look at this cover, by the way. Lauren James. I picked this one up. I can't remember who recommended it to me. I've got two of her books. One of my book friends recommended it. Can't remember. Terrible. And I bought this and the something Half-Life of Harriet something. Can't remember. It's over there. And this is fantastic. It's a sci-fi. It's about NASA send a deep space spacecraft with loads of people frozen, frozen in cryosleep, to a distant planet, and a couple of people are kept unfrozen so that they can caretake the people who are under cryosleep. And this couple, as a husband and wife, she's a doctor, they get pregnant and they end up having a little girl called Romy. Yeah. Anyway, something happens and you're not quite sure. You find out over time that her parents are no more and none of the sleeping people are no more. You don't know why. She's ended up on this spacecraft, still headed for this second planet on her own, and she's never seen Earth. She was born on the spacecraft. She's 16 years old. She was 12 when everybody left her, and the only contact she has is with her therapist Maggie, who is on Earth, and they come through very slowly. Obviously, 6 months, 7 months later, but so that's the only contact she has with humanity. And then they let her know that they've released another spacecraft on the way, but it's faster, so it'll meet up with her. And then the people on there, they can all go onto this planet. And the person in charge of that is Jay. Now, she's a 16-year-old girl, and Jay is a boy. Probably an older boy. Right? And she falls in love with him. Of course she does. It's the only contact she's ever had for years. And they're obviously close to each other, so they can end up speaking to each other in real time. But then she gets a bit suspicious. She's like, actually, I don't know anything about this man. Why am I trusting him? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it all goes a bit to pot, as you can imagine, and lots of secrets and um, come out. But it's just such a good. I could not put this book down. It's so good. The writing is exceptional. I'm really looking forward to reading another one. I can't think what it's called. It's a reckless life of something. The reckless half life of Harriet, who ends up being a ghost, and I'm not sure. Anyway, that'll be in next month. But excellent. And as I said, gorgeous cover. The Madness by Dawn Kurtagich. This is a Dracula retelling. It's exceptional. Exceptional. It's about this woman who's a psychiatrist and in modern times, and she gets a patient who's obviously been deeply traumatized. Then she gets a message from her old friend in her old village in Wales asking for help. And when she gets there, her symptoms are the same as her patient in London. And she finds out there's this very, very dodgy underground thing going on that is hurting girls, and she needs to find out what's going on. As I said, it's a Dracula retelling. It's exceptional. I loved every minute of it. So basically, she has to decide, to join forces with people she hasn't spoken to for years in her hometown to defeat this ancient evil. It's just exceptional, exceptional. I love Dawn's writing anyway. It's always very dark and gothic. And although this is modern retelling of Dracula, it feels gloriously gothic and haunting. It's just brilliant, brilliant. Chug Tingle, Lucky Day. This was a Barnwell Book Club one from last month or the month before, and this is about where an event has happened. What's it called? The event, the low probability event, and 8 million people have. Did I do this last month? Hang on a second. Is this one from last month? Oh, it's not, is it? It's this month, isn't it? Is it? Oh, we'll go with it. We'll go with it, my loves. Low probability event. 8 million people died in one day. And I mean, like in weird ways, right? So, like a monkey battered one to death and all this kind of thing. And it's just brilliant. It's just so fun. And this woman used to be a statistician, and this FBI agent finds her, and he's like, "Look, something's going on. We need to look into this." And there's a very, very lucky casino, very lucky. And even though all the statistics show that people who go in there should win, they don't. Anyway, it's just a weird kind of, what would I call it? It's kind of like a cosmic horror in a way. It feels a bit kind of supernaturally, sci-fi-y, FBI, conspiracy-y. Do you know what I mean? But a great cover, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good fun. If I've already reviewed that, I apologise. Next, last one. Thank God, they say. Thank God. She's got on a bit, hasn't she? Teenage Girls Can Be Demons. This is also a signed copy, I think. Yeah. From the Abominable Book Club. And this is it 13? 13 coming of age stories. Hailey Piper, all about female rage, female revenge, specifically teenage girls. If they could rule the world, what would happen? They're all horror stories, and not the first one is in a school where if a teenage boy say a certain word, the teenage girls explode. That the opening line. I'll read you the opening line. It's incredible. The first girl explodes on the final evening of orientation weekend. And how they get back at them. It's brilliant. There's something's mutating adolescence. I mean, it's just the Halloween one's good. The Halloween prank that goes really, really wrong when a murderous ghost steps into the real world. But it's just brilliant. 13, out of rage stories. They are teenage girls who are on the rampage, and it's really, really good. Love her writing. So that's it, my loves. That's me done. Sorry if I've gone on a bit, but I live on my own. I don't have anyone to talk to, so nice to talk to you. Hope you're all right. Hope you're reading wonderful things, and let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're reading, and what you're enjoying at the moment. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe if you fancy it. If not, I'm going to continue to speak into the void because why not? Nothing else is happening. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. But yeah, I hope you're okay, my darlings. Remember, stay warm, stay hydrated, keep reading fantastic books, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.